Welcome to Accidentally Starting a Food Business by Condimaniac. Condimaniac is us, Jen and
Kier.
And we are a married couple, weirdly enough, I'm from Germany originally, and
I'm from England.
From East Anglia.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo. And we did exactly that. We accidentally started a food business, and we've been running it for about 2 years, a bit less maybe. And the longer we're doing it, the more we want to share our experiences. And we just, like everyone, COVID times, we just wanted to have a podcast because everyone and their mum has a podcast, and we're jealous. And we have a lot to say, basically, about how to start a food business and what not to do. And we're still learning, obviously, but yeah, we just kind of wanted to take you along on the ride.
Yeah. So, how did it all start?
An accident, just like the name of the podcast suggests. It started, was it June 2018?
Yeah.
So, bit of background. Kier loves condiments, always has. We've been together for about 9 years. Don't think we're that old. We're not that old. But ever since I've known him, he basically introduced me to eating pizza with a sauce. That was new to me, that you dipped your pizza. We don't really do that. Maybe they do it in Germany. I've never really...
You have to. I'm one of those awful people that... one of those commoners that when you're in a restaurant and you get a pizza in a nice Italian restaurant and you're like, do you have any ketchup? Embarrassingly asking them if I have ketchup.
Well, to be fair, you don't usually ask... Okay, so if we're in an Italian restaurant, he will ask for oil and balsamic usually. Not quite like...
Well, maybe.
Sometimes
I try and be a bit posh.
Yeah.
It just has to be wet.
That's not good. But anyway, I never did that, and I didn't for the first 2 years that I moved to the UK. But then after a while, I started trying it, and I really liked it. But yeah, Kier's just been a condiment person forever. And every time he goes on holiday somewhere, he bought local condiments and just tried them. And one day in 2018, I don't know, we were having a barbecue or something.
Yeah.
And you were going on about condiments, and we just kind of had this idea that you should start an Instagram reviewing condiments because you're like the condiment connoisseur.
Yeah, and well, we'd had a few drinks naturally, so that's kind of how all good ideas start. But yeah, it was in southeast London.
Yeah,
near
at the time.
Brockley, nice part of London. That
in our tiny 1-bedroom flat. And it was a bit of one of those ideas that usually you wouldn't go through with on the next day. You'd be like, that was a stupid idea. But basically, we just did... Well, Kier mostly did it. So I helped him because my background is a bit in photography. So to kind of give some more background, I think we should probably talk a bit about what we actually do as day jobs and stuff as well.
Here we are, yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys, we're amateurs, just learning.
Yeah, we're just trying to feel this out. Okay, so... We'll park that. We're up to the inception, the barbecue. But who we are as people that led us to that point, I am, well, many things. I was in bands from early on. I was in a band called Fearless Vampire Killers and had my own record label, and we toured for many years. I left that band and had to get a proper job. So... as always, when you've kind of left music, you're kind of feeling things out, trying to find your way in the world. I knew some stuff about finance. I worked with startups, blah, 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 boring. Long story short, I ended up working with creative agencies in marketing, like every other millennial. So.
Yay. And I came to the UK in 2011. The end of 2011, and originally I was only really meant to be here for like 6 months. So I wanted to become a photographer. That was my thing after school in Germany, good old Germany. And then I met Kier, and the rest is history. So I've been working in the music industry since around 2013. It took me a while to actually get into it, but we met at a photo shoot. So I was working at the photo studio, and Kier's band. Well, Fearless Vampire Killers. I shouldn't say Kier's band. Fearless Vampire Killers came in for a shoot for Kerrang at the time.
I was the singer, so...
One of the
singers. I was one of two singers,
yes,
so
one of two very good singers.
it was my band.
Well,
going to kill me.
It's everyone's band. Everyone in the band can say it's their band, whatever. But they came in and we met, and the rest is history. But I started working in music. First music photography, then I kind of gave up the photography, and I also ended up in marketing, just in music marketing, which I still do. So currently it's the 6th of December 2020 today.
Yeah.
Just to date this. We are both still working full-time in marketing, just different kind of marketing. My marketing is mostly like ad buying, and Kier's marketing is more like strategical kind of campaign Can you say that?
Yeah, well, it's a creative agency,
Yeah.
so it's like we do all the content creation and stuff like that.
Okay, that's all the boring stuff. That's kind of all you need to know about us. But yeah, so June 2018, so just over 2 years ago, the idea for Condimaniac came about. Condimaniac wasn't even the first choice of name.
No,
we were
Condimentalist.
Yeah, we were just, lame pun. We were just looking for like condiment, like we didn't want to call our Instagram condiment review or something. No offense if that's your Instagram handle.
Yeah. But so we were at this barbecue and we had had a few drinks and we had just talked about my love for condiments. And I think we just kind of thought it would be funny, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were just like, condiments kind of have, and this is bled through into what we do now really, but condiments have this kind of reputation in a way. They're almost a bit like cheap. They're kind of like they're a bit silly. I don't know why. I just felt like the idea of reviewing condiments wasn't silly. It's not wine. Like if you started a wine reviewing Instagram, it'd be very like, oh, this is a wine reviewing Instagram.
Yeah.
It'd be posh. But I just like the idea of condiments being given that same attention that the more salubrious stuff in life is often given. So,
I think, didn't we have a look and we couldn't, I think there was some people that started doing condiment review, but they were like inactive and they had like 50 followers. So I think the day after when we realised we actually did want to do this, because I had some photography knowledge. I mean, we took all the pictures on an iPhone or Android or whatever, but we actually styled the pictures and we thought, well, let's do this right. And you already had a cupboard full of condiments you could start with. And then we obviously just went into like the local supermarkets, some Asian markets, and we just started pulling the weirdest condiments we can find. And lo and behold, after just a few months, we had our first inquiry of a company wanting to send us their sauce.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Especially now we're a business, and maybe we'll have to do an episode on influencers one day. But it's crazy how early people start contacting you and asking you to push their products. We probably had like 1,000 followers on Instagram, and people were like, "Can you review my sauce?"
Yeah, it was probably less. I remember we did a 500 follower post, and I think we already did So all of our posts, we never took money from anyone, and we did say if you send us something, we might rip it apart. Integrity was important to us, and it was never meant to be a business. It was just a fun thing, like an outlet, something that Kier did anyways, just buy loads of condiment. So you might as well rate them, and we came up with this kind of specific rating system of what is it, appearance, smell, taste, and pairing or something.
Yeah, again, it was like the idea that it was kind of like wine almost. Like we took really, so it was an Instagram account, let's be clear, an Instagram account. We took really nice pictures. We tried to make the condiments look pretty. We'd style them with bits of food that
we
were
even
in
did
the
a
condiment.
pour shot video, like
Pour
a carousel.
That even got even more, what's the word? Like high budget in inverted commas later when I started using slow motion. But we did that, and the idea was that it was supposed to sort of elevate condiments to this level, and it was surprising. I think we kind of caught the bug early on because it picked up. There was obviously a hunger for it, I guess.
People just really liked, like there was just people just really identifying with our brand, and we didn't really know we had a brand. We didn't even have a logo at the time. We later did get one, but I think pretty early on we realized that there was actually a community. We started with all types of sauce. I think one of our first one was remoulade, like Danish remoulade that my mum sent us from Germany, and then we did some mayonnaise and stuff. But pretty quickly we realized the biggest hype was around hot sauce.
That was interesting because I didn't really actually eat much hot sauce.
Yeah, you were was.
I wasn't very good with spice. I mean, I liked spice, but I wasn't one of these spice freaks. who like it hot at the expense of the flavour. But yeah, it was really weird. I guess we both got bit by the hot sauce bug. Found that there was this real community around hot sauce, and hot sauce was, I always said it's like the new craft beer. It's the idea that hot sauce was just growing, and the interest in it was growing for all the same reasons, because there was a lot of kinds. It was quite artisan. There was, you could be creative with the labels. So there was a lot, around hot sauce that was really, really interesting. So yeah, I think we found quite quickly that the most intense fans of condiments were hot sauce fans, because, people kind of like ketchup, but they love hot sauce. If you're a hot sauce fan, there's all those hashtags like hot sauce in my bag, hot sauce on everything. It's like a way of life.
Yeah, and I think we were lucky in the sense that we were in London. London just has a lot of independent hot sauce producers, and we weren't even aware that this scene really existed. But it was just at the time where more of the kind of smaller brands came into bigger retail. So like the likes of Sauce Shop was something that we found in our local butchers and reviewed pretty early on, I think.
Yeah.
And so that was good. And we just looked at all these brands with an interest, but we never thought we were going to do something like that. That was never the plan.
Nope.
We just naturally kind of came into the scene, and we went to Hot Burns and Black, which is a great hot sauce kind of specialty shop near us in South London at the time. And it was just so cool that there was people that kind of dedicating their life to the hot sauce and things like that. So
by the way, anyone who, sorry to cut in, but anyone who is living in London, do check out Hot Burns and Black. They have 2 shops, one in Deptford and one in Dulwich, I believe. And is it Dulwich?
I don't know. It's near there.
Kind of near there. And the whole concept of it is hop, so beer, Burns, hot sauce, and Black was vinyl. They do less vinyl now, but beer and hot sauce, match made in heaven. Anyway, carry on.
I think the next mention worthy, that's not a word, part of the story is really, so we reached 1,000 followers, I think, on Instagram. We basically got sauce sent to us all the time at this point. I think we opened a PO box at some point as well, but that was a bit later. But more and more people said, why don't you guys make a hot sauce? You know so much about hot sauce now. You've reviewed, you're criticizing all these people, because obviously that's also kind of a bad part of, not a bad part, but it's a bit of a touchy part when you start reviewing things that you don't like all of them. That's just a normal thing. Not everyone likes everything. And whilst we always try and be respectful, there were just some sauces we got sent that we just didn't like. And as now part of the community, it was a bit awkward, let's say, to just rate someone's product that they put loads of work in as bad, basically. So we haven't really done that many negative reviews, because luckily, actually, most people make really nice hot sauce that they sent us. But I guess people were just like, well, you're just kind of rating everything. Why don't you give it a try and see how easy it is or not?
And I guess it's also one of those things where you're tasting stuff and then you're like, well, it's like beer, right? So when you start tasting lots of different kinds of beer, and then you kind of look into brewing. So we naturally, as enthusiasts, hot sauce enthusiasts, which we'd become by this time, started looking at how to make hot sauce. And then we were like, I reckon we can do this. And then we sort of made our first hot sauce just for fun.
That's not really how it worked. But
did it not?
No.
This is why Jen tells the story.
No. It was so. I mean, we were complete novices at first, and I was aware that you could ferment things, but I wasn't aware that so much hot sauce was fermented and some of it was not. So we did look into it, but basically, Kier has a tendency of kind of running before walking. So he immediately was just like, "Cool, we're doing this. We're bringing out our own hot sauce and selling it." And I was like, "Whoa, what?" Because I'm from Germany. I like regulations, so I immediately had to Google what we had to do. So obviously
I
first...
like regulations.
I can't help it. So you have to register as a food business with your council, get inspected, do a level 2 food safety certificate and all that. So I was the one who kind of pushed that forward. I was like, we have to do this right. get it all certified. So we got inspected.
But I think we're cutting ahead slightly there in the sense that before we decided...
We did make a test batch before, yeah.
No, before we even decided to launch a food business, we made a hot sauce just for fun.
Yeah.
At home, which was Smoky Dragon.
Yeah, but it was in... I think you already had it in mind that you wanted to.
Yeah, I think I hadn't admitted it to myself by that point.
Yeah, but I knew what you were doing.
But I was like, nah, I'm just gonna make some and just see what it's like. And maybe if it wasn't so blinking delicious, I wouldn't have ever pursued it. But we did make that first bottle of Smoky Dragon.
Yeah,
that
we made
still
like 2.5 bottles. Yeah, we still have it.
In the fridge, and it's still good. So that's good. And it was really delicious.
We used tomatoes from our own garden at the time.
Yeah, which we'd grown. Hipsters.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I'd had it in the back of my mind, but we made it. It was delicious. And then I think we started thinking a little bit more seriously about whether we could sell it.
Yeah. I was kind of against it because I thought, what's the point? There's already so many small hot sauce businesses. The hassle with getting your flat inspected, all that. I was just like, are we really going to do this? Like, we have full-time careers. Like, Kier was doing another band at the time, new band, and we were just planning our wedding, I think, as well.
Yeah.
We're trying to buy a house. It was just a lot on our plate, so I was a bit apprehensive, but there was just quite a lot of demand. I think we put up the bottle we made, and at the time Kier actually thought it was too hot, which is hilarious now because it's really not that hot.
Yeah.
And we posted it online and rated it, and people just wanted to try it. So yeah, I didn't have much choice, so I helped sort out the rating stuff, just pushed you forward to book that inspection and all that.
Yeah, to be fair, I probably wouldn't have done most of it, and probably would have just been flogging it on Instagram for a few months before I'd even bothered to look into any of that stuff.
Yeah, which you actually can start selling before you get the inspection. We'll talk about this later on, but basically you get an awaiting inspection status from the council. But I kind of made us do it all properly, so we got inspected. We got a 5-star rating. Yes, thank you very much. And then we pretty much just made what we thought was a big batch at the time, like 30 bottles. We thought that was a big batch.
Yeah. And we didn't sell any really for ages, did we?
No, we didn't. I think our first real experience of selling actual things was at Hot Sauce Society 2019 in May.
Yeah.
And I mean, so when we first did Smoky Dragon, it was just immediately right. It was really weird. It was a fluke. But that was also the time when we had to come up with a label and a design and, look into what needs to go on a label, ingredients, allergens, all that sort of stuff. So it was quite stressful. I mean, you did most of the graphic design, can I call it that?
Yeah, can I call it that? Cheeky. I guess I did the artwork, like you said. We were still reviewing lots.
Yeah, reviewing was our
Instagram.
main thing. This was not meant to be like, oh, now we're not reviewing anymore. We were now doing our own source buy, because we would have alienated. I think we had between 1,000 and 2,000 followers at the time, and that was our main thing. So they were fans of us because we did the reviews, and we did them once a week, maybe twice a week when we had a good week. Mm-hmm. But obviously we were working full time and had a lot other stuff to do. This was mostly a hobby that we really enjoyed. And at the time, I wasn't as involved. So we even when we started doing Smoky Dragon, we didn't really form a company or anything. We were just, you were just a sole trader, I guess. Not that Smoky Dragon made pretty much no money. Like we bought the most expensive ingredients ever. Mm-hmm. We still use ingredients that are too expensive. So we started just buying stuff from our local shop back in Honor Oak Park in London. Mm-hmm. And we started using Aspel cider vinegar, which we still use today. Just we don't buy it in the 250 ml bottles.
That's the difference. I think we use all the same ingredients.
Yeah.
We just buy them wholesale now, so they're a bit cheaper than when we just bought them from
not that much cheaper.
Expensive corner shop in London.
Yeah.
So we were probably making no money. But that wasn't the point. It was literally just like, oh, these people are doing it. I think we can do this too. And we just had a little look down our Instagram timeline. So we basically were a review platform.
Yeah.
We were reviewing things on Instagram, and then we accidentally started this food business. And January 2019.
Yeah,
was
only
when
last year. That's crazy.
Only last year was when we launched Smoky Dragon.
Yeah, officially. You could buy it in a bottle that had an actual label, had an actual ingredient list.
I made a rubbish website.
Yeah, and you made a little... I think you went on Fiverr and someone basically just ripped off the logo you already made for us. So Kier did a logo for us. And
they just traced it.
Yeah, that's what you get on Fiverr.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, that was our logo for a while. I think nearly a year. I think we only changed our logo a year ago, which is, again, also a bit crazy to think about. January 2019 was our first product launch. We got like 5 sales, I think. And we were excited. Like, it was pretty mental. And our bottles were bigger at the time. Kier really wanted square bottles. It's still a bit of a topic of contention, but he wanted to stand out in the imaginary supermarket aisle, because we're obviously not in a supermarket, and we have never been in a supermarket.
It's not just that, it's branding. So we'll do a whole episode on branding later. Yeah. But when you're in what they call concentrate, I can't find the word, a concentrated market,
a saturated market.
Saturated market. I couldn't find the word. When you're in a saturated market, it's even more important to stand out. And what all the hot sauce companies were doing were just using those Worcestershire sauce bottles, which are the same ones, the little round ones, which were a lot cheaper, so it made sense because they were making more money. But, go hard or go home. You've got to stand out.
Yeah, and make it really difficult for yourself.
Yeah. So, but to be honest, I think as with anything, and this is what I kind of love about starting things new, it's the idea, those 5 sales were super satisfying because we'd built this from nothing. We'd literally created everything else that I'd ever sold up until that point had been to fans of the bands that I'd been in. And even if I did a side project, even my other band, Inklings, only really people that were fans of Fearless Vampire Killers were into it. So it was just really cool to, I guess, launch something that we'd created literally from nothing, and have people, even if it was just a handful, buy it. And
it was satisfying to get feedback, because we liked our sauce, we thought it was good, but we didn't know if other people would like it, because we didn't make, a lot of sauces we tried were very vinegary, which, hot sauce can be, but we didn't know if people would like our style of sauce, because we made a sauce that we would like to eat without even having anything with it. We just like to just eat it by the spoon because we thought it was that good, but could have been that people were like, this is crap, you don't know what you're doing, but luckily we never really had that bad feedback yet.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get it.
It's been all right. I mean, you can't please everyone, but and we'll do an episode on that too. It feels like this.
Do an episode on everything.
Feels like this episode is just we've got lots to talk about and
establish everything.
So I guess our main point really is it came from something that we didn't expect, but then thinking about it, and I actually did a webinar with my friend Jake, on this kind of thing the other day, starting a business. It's fine to start a business from just by accident. Like, it's fine to do that, and for it to be from something that you love. But then I guess there has to be a point where you think, oh, am I going to take this seriously? So all of this was pre us taking it really, really seriously. It was still like, this is just a bit of fun.
Something we just did on the side when we had time, which wasn't actually that often.
And I guess when you do make that decision, then you need to start thinking, okay, you'd like get a bit of a head on you and think, is there a market for it? Is what I'm doing good enough?
Yeah,
I'm actually going to buy this.
Seeing yourself as part, like, we suddenly were one of those people that would send us sauce. Like, we were kind of the same type of people.
Yeah.
And that also made us question our whole format on Instagram, because how could we review other people's sources while we had our own source? Obviously, we had a bias now. So this is still something to this day that's difficult. But again, we will talk about that in another episode.
Yeah.
So expect 1 million episodes from us. I'm not sure. I mean, we're probably going to hope that we can upload bi-weekly or something. We'll do our best, guys. We really want to talk about all this stuff, but busy life, Source.
But I think that's a good juncture to kind of wrap up. So that's kind of us. We were
That's
drunk.
kind of us.
We were drunk at a barbecue. We were a couple.
It was
of
our own
people.
barbecue, by the way. It wasn't just a random.
Oh yeah,
person's
it was
barbecue.
our own barbecue. We can just like take it over and be like, we're gonna make sauce. We got drunk at a barbecue. We had an idea. We started reviewing some condiments. We then decided to try it. We got the hot sauce bug. We made some of our own. And at the point, I guess, we're leaving this story, we haven't started a limited company.
No.
We haven't really sold any.
No,
As in
it's
we've
not
sold
like 20 bottles.
yeah, a handful of bottles. That first batch probably lasted us quite a while.
Yeah.
We only have one sauce.
Yeah, a good one.
A good one sauce, still good, but we only have one sauce. We have a bad website, everything's DIY. And we're still really just seeing what's going to happen. In future episodes, I mean, maybe give people a taste for the kind of things that you want to talk about over the coming weeks, Jen.
I mean, I think we're going to stay a little bit chronological for a bit, just because we don't have that much to catch up on now. So we are now in 2019.
No, we're not. We're in the story. I was
Not
definitely in 2020.
No, yeah, I know that. How could I miss that? No, so in the story, we are just at the beginning of 2019. So I think in the next episode, we will roughly take you through 2019, because the end of 2019 is a bit of a pivotal moment in our story, and 2020 is kind of where it gets juicy. So in the sort of next 2 to 3 episodes, we're probably going to catch up to real time, and then going to do more focused episodes on very specific topics. Like one of our favorite topics is talking about suppliers. We're also going to talk about how to set up a limited company, because we I personally just want to share some of this, because when we first looked into all of this, there is resource, but there isn't like a nice compact format like this where people just talk about how they did it and what they would recommend other people do. So you can find this info if you want to download 1 million PDFs, join 1 million Facebook groups, and do it like that. But we kind of just want to tell our story in a way people can understand. And if you want to do something similar, doesn't have to be hot sauce, obviously. I think a lot of our experiences are transferable. So that's partly why I want to do it. And also I just want to chat shit. That's the other reason.
And hopefully you can avoid making all of the mistakes that we did.
Yeah, we did a few. I mean, we were pretty lucky, I think. It all turned out all right, but we did make some mistakes. So yeah, next episode, probably going to take you through 2019, talk about our next product launch that we did, because we did come up with another sauce. Then we did our first food market. That was a big moment when we suddenly were faced with hundreds of people tasting our product and giving us immediate feedback. It was very scary. And I guess also, taking it seriously. So my part in this company only really came in kind of sort of mid of 2019 is when we made the step to say we're a company now and all that. So yeah, that will be the next episode, I think.
Yeah, we've got all that to look forward to. Thanks for coming this far.
Yeah.
And
please give us feedback on what you think.
Yeah. And now we're going to awkwardly try and finish the podcast.
Yeah.
Insert.
I've asked Kier to make a jingle, so I hope he inserts that.
Yeah. Insert some kind of jingle here. Thank you. Bye. Bye.